Farley here. It's March 1st. Happy Monday, everybody. Happy March, everybody. We got March Madness kicking off in fashion here this week. It's going to be awesome. I'm really excited about this. This was the hottest time for me last year, and year over year, typically one of the best times of the year when it comes to sports capping and sports betting. So stay tuned for that. Stay engaged. And if you want to check out all the picks on patreon.com/Phi Farley, feel free to do so. Coming off another win yesterday, another winning day yesterday, as well as winning day Saturday. So had a win on Daily Best Bet winner on Wednesday, Thursday, push Friday, win Saturday and Sunday. Grand Canyon was the pick on Saturday. And then what was the pick on Sunday? It was North Dakota State. Getting the job done there against South Dakota on the road. So a couple winners here. Good to get some daily best bet winners on the board, as well as NBA has been doing very well. For those of you who've been tuning along on there, that's been awesome as well. So let's keep it going into these tournaments. This is time to really bank up some cash. So I'm excited about this. Stay tuned each and every day. Last week we broke down smaller schools. This week I'm going to do a breakdown real quick. Each day when it comes to conference tournaments. Just a note, a little nugget to take away when it comes to capping conference tournaments and what we can utilize to our advantage as we look at each one of those unique circumstances throughout the college basketball season. So today, let's talk real quick about recency. So when it comes to capping a game, as we get into these conference tournaments, we want to look at the last couple weeks of the schedule. You really want to look at the last 6-7 games as they are going into that conference tournament. A lot of times you can find hidden gems, teams that are really peaking at the right time, getting their roster situated. You got to remember, college basketball, especially some of the Power 5 conferences, you have 18, 19-year-olds that are just coming in and finding their position on that team each year. So there's a lot to be done from November to March. And a lot of these teams are hitting their stride, really finding their spots by the end of the season. So make sure you can ride those hot teams into their conference tournaments. Same goes the other way. Some other teams have been hit with injuries. Other teams are, really struggling to get the offense going. And they've slipped off from where they started the season at. And now they're a fraction of who they once were. And those teams are teams to fade as you go into the conference tournament. So be sure you're keying in on that. Make sure you look at the last 5 to 7 games going into each one of those conference tournaments, because you can really find some gems, find some really good value before you just look at the overall record, looking at the conference record, dig in a little deeper and check out how they've done recently. All right, now let's talk about Daily Best Bet, see if we can't get another winner in there. Going to the Southland, that's right. The mighty, mighty Southland. Now, I've talked about this conference quite a bit here over the season. I've keyed in on Abilene Christian, talked about how by the end of the year, they're going to be sitting on top of the conference. We will see. Right now, there is a 3 to 4-way tie, depends how you slice it. When it comes to losses, 4-way tie at the top of the conference. Surprisingly, Nichols State is sitting at top of the conference at 12-2 right now. Abilene Christian 11-2 is also sitting up there. I mean, they just had a bad weekend when it comes to some of these teams. They all had one loss and they slipped. They all slipped. Sam Houston State, Stephen F. Austin, all picking up losers that they should not have picked up. They got lazy, and other teams in the conference ended up taking a win, which we're going to capitalize on here today at the Best Bet, because these 4 teams, I mean, honestly, I'd say 3. Nichols is surprising me, but these 4 teams that are sitting on top of the conference are far better than the teams underneath them. Let's just take a look at the next 4, for example. Northwestern State, Incarnate Word, New Orleans, Southeastern Louisiana. That's the next 4 teams in this conference. So these teams are by far better than those next 4, which gives us a little bit of an opportunity here. Let's also talk about momentum and going into the conference tournament here with Stephen F. Austin. So Stephen F. Austin is going to be one of the better teams in this conference, and they just lost to a Lamar team that is 4-10, 6-17 on the season. Big slip up, big whoops-a-daisy. Game before that, they played Northwestern State, a better team, and beat them by 26. So an absolute shellacking, but that's the way Stephen F. Austin plays. Against a lot of their conference opponents, it's not very close. Central Arkansas, on the other hand, is who their opponent is today. and they just knocked off Abilene Christian. Biggest win of the season. Now, was that momentum changing or was that a fluke? Well, the previous 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 games would argue that was a fluke. 10 straight losses for Central Arkansas in this conference. And if you have seen Central Arkansas play, they play an up-tempo. KP has them at 43rd tempo in the country. And meanwhile, they have the 346th ranked defense in the country. It's one of the worst defenses in all of college basketball with an up-tempo tempo of play. So, I mean, this reminds me of Chip Kelly when he went to UCLA and he had no talent on his team and they're trying to run up-tempo and they're simply giving the ball over to the other team as quickly as possible. It did not play to their benefit and the losses racked up. That's what you have with Central Arkansas. They just don't have a good squad. They don't have a good defense. When we play up-tempo, the game gets out of hand really, really quickly. And that's what we see score-wise when they play a team like Sam Houston State, one of the top teams. They lose by, the last game was 57-97. So they lost by, 40. That can happen and likely will happen here again with Stephen F. Austin. Central Arkansas, they just got their dopamine hit. They just won. They're excited. They're on top of the world. They beat the number one team in the conference, the team that I had picked to win the conference and still do. But they just beat them. They're on top of the world. Now they got Stephen F. Austin coming in right behind them, who just lost to Lamar. And luckily for them, still have a shot to win this conference if they could sweep out the board because they have Abilene Christian up next. So big opportunity here for Stephen F. Austin to get the win. Off a loss, they have no room for laziness here. They're going to run Central Arkansas off this court. Actually, Central Arkansas will run themselves off this court against a far better team than Stephen F. Austin. I will lay this game opened at 10, was up to 11, now at 11.5. I'm going to lay the 11.5 with Stephen F. Austin on the road against Central Arkansas. Best bet of the day. There you go. Good luck, everyone, today. We'll see you again soon.